Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Big T today. My name is Frank Vespi from the Racing Biz, theracingbiz.com. Friend, partner, colleague, sidekick, track announcer, Dave Rodman to my right.
Dog fig maker.
Dog fig maker, man about town.
Yeah.
Dave, you and I agreed on a lot of races yesterday, and man, that was the kiss of death.
Well, I actually tried to handicap Frank. I mean, that's the problem. You got to stick with the dog fig. So today I went back to basics, my little pace situations, and
all right,
proprietary algorithmic formula with a final time, and I think I'm back on track today. Yeah, it was a weird day to me yesterday. I knew it was going to go bad with the first race was the horse that was being handled at the start, and all refunds were given back on HOV lane.
Oh, that's right.
So,
that's right.
So I knew right away
You're off to a bad start when your horse is declared a non-starter.
It declared a non-starter, but defaulted into the chalky winner. So and after that, it was all downhill.
Yeah, no, that was a rough one. I actually like today's card a little bit, though. There's a couple of races that I think you can look at a price and take a little bit of a shot. So looking forward to that. Also, Dave, we're looking forward to today is Maryland Thoroughbred Hall of Fame Day here at the State Fair in Timonium. Going to induct Smoke Glacken and Star de Nascra, two great Maryland breds of years past, both of them champion sprinters. Star de Nascra in 1979, Smoke Glacken in 1997. National champion sprinters, Eclipse Award winners. So two great Maryland breds we're going to put in the Maryland Thoroughbred Hall of Fame today. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to have a little bit of a ceremony following the fourth race today.
I marked that in the program so I wouldn't forget.
Attaboy.
You know what that means?
You'll forget.
No. After race 4 today, down to the winner's circle, and you can see the ceremony. We'll have it out for the public to see as well. Great work by Cindy Dubler. I want to give a shout out, right? For
Absolutely.
Getting all that
all
together,
the research
and everybody who's participated in getting it together, getting the research done, sending out the emails, sending out the prod emails to people who like me or usually vote in the last 2 hours.
When after you've gotten the 6 previous emails saying I'm going to need your pick. No, that's me.
Nope.
The Maryland Thoroughbred Hall of Fame, a joint project of the Maryland Horse Breeders Association and Maryland Racing Media Association. So good stuff. Always fun to recognize the great Maryland breds of years past. But we got some Maryland breds and some horses bred elsewhere of the present. And so, Dave, let's dive into today's 9-race card. We're going to start with maiden 10,000 fillies. These are 2-year-olds going 4 furlongs, zipping one turn here. Going to take out the 2 in the first race. Castle Toy, a scratch. Not too many scratches today. Nice change from earlier in the meet, so that should be good. So, Dave, I know that you looked at this race, and the dog figs told you this is a Jack Harmon special.
1-5 here, 1-5-3. And 6, you went with a 6 on top. We'll talk about that filly in a moment. I thought Oberdare came up a little short last time out here at the Big T from post 6. Gets an inside draw today. Post 1, I know, obviously, post 1 is going to be a popular post because it is. But it's 4 for 10 this meet, going 4 furlongs. So inside, I think post 3 is also strong. Only 10 starters, at this 4 furlong distance, but I think it points to the fact that down inside there with some speed could be to her benefit. She's by Long River, a first crop sire. I've seen a lot of the weanlings and 2-year-olds by Long River, and I just think he's going to be an okay sire. I may be dead wrong about that.
I just want to jump in for a moment because you did say this is a Jack Harmon special, and there goes Jack Harmon.
There goes Mr. $700 yesterday with lucky numbers. In Argentina, by the way. I didn't tell you that.
I can't wait for this story.
Okay, so the Long River first crop sire is seeking a win here. Thought the horse came up a little short. Comes out of the common race as the 5. Heard It All, who was the winner that day. Heard It All ran a credible second. Oberdare just came up a little short, I thought. Those two out of the same race, picking them 1-2, coming back.
Everything you just said, I agree with. Heard It All had just the perfect trip, got through inside that day. And as you say, Oberdare drawn down on the rail today. If he gets away, she gets away with the same sort of alacrity she did last time, should be scooting on the front. Now, I went in a slightly different direction here. I went with the 6-horse, Unrelenting Love for trainer Brittany Russell. This is a daughter of Violence. Violence is emerging as a pretty good sire. His first foal out of a dam who won a Group 1 race in her native Chile. So we'll see what that sort of means here. But the interesting thing I thought about this horse was Brittany Russell won with a horse yesterday in a maiden special weight, a horse named Basarati, who went off at 11-1 and looked pretty good, winning first out of the box. This filly appears to have been working with that runner and for the most part keeping up. Now, obviously they think there is a difference in these two animals. Basarati running maiden specials yesterday, this one running maiden tens today. So they're not thinking these are the same horses by any means, but that seemed like a pretty good resume for a first-time starter running at the bottom here in this maiden 10 condition.
Yeah,
Dave.
Basarati was Joel Politi homebred. This one's in for 10, but they only paid 7 for her. And, you see a lot of the Respect the Valley's ownership horses. They don't pay a lot of money for their horses.
They do not.
And they get a lot of productivity out of them there. So if she gets claimed, that's fine. They only paid 7 for her. They get the win purse. She's by Violence, which means win early, 18% for the Sire Violence first-time starter 2-year-olds. So I could see good point there on the works. Grass Cutter is an interesting horse, dropping from maiden 30 right away to maiden 10, having been favored in debut back at Laurel on July 23rd. I couldn't find any excuse for her there. No blinker change, just a drop right away.
Yeah.
She's another Long River filly too. I went 1 and 5, sticking with horses, maybe fillies with a little experience over this track last week.
1-5-3-6 for Dave in the lid lifter, 6-1-5 for me. Let's turn our attention to race 2, see if one of us can complete the double. Means one of us will be wrong in the first race because we are in the same place here in race 2. These are 10,000 never win 3 claiming fillies going 6.5 furlongs. And Summer Velvet looks like the right answer to both of us, Dave.
In form, claimed to the Farrier Barn, claimed for 10, in for 10 off that good muddy track run. I've had that race won by Dulce Kira, although she was a beaten favorite. And the race 4 back won by Joe Mike Jim. I had perhaps a little bit above par for that kind of a level. So I'm going to go right back with her just for consistency. I'm not sold on her, though. Honor Your Mother pulled a 19-1 upset at Laurel back in the winter. Has been kind of off track and off form since then. Delaware turf, Delaware dirt, Delaware dirt. Maybe just doesn't like Delaware, dirt or turf. You toss those 3 lines out, and she kind of figures here. Honor Your Mother with J.D. Acosta aboard.
No,
she's live.
And you kind of like a horse, that has shown you the ability to compete at the level, even if the form's a little bit darkened. And so I use that horse farther underneath than you did. One other note on Summer Velvet, that last race was pretty good, I thought, because actually, kind of won the speed duel early. Didn't have quite enough to hold off the closers, but stuck with it to the end, so that the other horse that this one was dueling with finished farther back. So a pretty good try from Summer Velvet there. You're using Honor Your Mother underneath. I'm going to take a little bit of a swing here with Hicktown. Hicktown showed, not a lot last time out. That was her first start since last November. Had previously been running pretty well, had won 2 of her first 4 career starts. One thing I liked about what they did with that horse, they brought this horse back. They waived the claiming tag, meaning you couldn't claim the horse. They wanted to keep the horse. They kept the horse. Horse didn't show anything. Now, they could drop to any level they want at this point. They could go right to the bottom if they wanted to. They stay here. They drop her a little bit to the 8,000, so getting a little bit of weight off. So I feel like they're telling me that they like this horse just a little bit, at least enough to want to keep around the barn. That seems like a positive sign for the Merriman barn. Blinkers come off. Grant Whitaker goes on. So that's Hicktown. Anything else you want to say here about race 2, Dave?
Well, I know she was beaten 29 lengths, but she got that all-important comment from Keith and Bill Equibase upstairs, rated back, comma. The old rated back comma. Always look for those. So it may be a little bit better performance today, I guess, is what we're getting at. So not really. I mean, Dilatum Riley is going to be far back. Kind of is going to have to hope for a quick pace, which I don't know is ultra quick pace. I don't think she's going to get. Shiny Penny, I thought ran okay last week here at the Big T. Showed pace, got that inside draw going 6.5. I guess their MO will be gun and go.
I think that's right. Trainer Jonathan Maldonado is 22% win strike rate coming back on less than 7 days, or 1 to 7 days rest. So this one coming back on obviously short rest, that shouldn't be an issue, we don't believe.
Just got a rider change in the first race. Number 1 Oberdare, that was my top pick. Now to jockey J.D. Acosta. In the first race, the 1, J.D. Acosta passed along. Thanks.
All right, that's race 2. So Dave goes 5-2-1-6. I'm 5-3-1-2 in the second to complete the early double. Race 3, maiden 16s. These are older horses going 6.5 furlongs, 2 turns here at the Big T. And well, we're in different places is where we are. And Dave, you end up on the 1 horse Valiant Gabe. I've got the 3 Can't Dream Alone. Valiant Gabe arrives off a pretty good try at Delaware Park.
No love for Bliss This, the even money favorite. No love for Bliss This, huh? This is not the day for Bliss This.
Not for me, not for you either.
Well, I put the horse second. I mean, I've seen him pull that act again, looking like he's going to win, and then here comes somebody. I'm just going to take a little chance here with the first Lasix on the inside and Valiant Gabe. Second back after the layoff for a low-profile trainer from Delaware Park. The horse has enough speed, I think, to stay in range of Bliss This. So it could be the day for Bliss This. Used him in the mix second. Not a lot of price there for the 4. So at 1-4, the 6, Shintaleo, who appears perhaps to be a turf horse, but then again, maybe not. He's run okay on the dirt as well. He's one of the 2 Rob entrants in this race, Bliss This being the favorite in the morning line, the higher price of Shintaleo. Well, tell me about Laura Roadcap.
Let's talk about Bliss This for one more second here, because I feel like this is a good thing for newer handicappers to think about. This is a horse that has been the beaten favorite now 5 times, including odds on twice, and even money another time. So this is a horse that has burned a lot of the bettor's money over the years, or over his relatively brief career. But and he runs well, and his speed figures figure, and every time people look at him and say, this horse, this could be the day, and of course it could be the day, and we may eat our words and we may eat our selections here. But when a horse continually loses at short odds, you kind of got to look elsewhere in your top spot, particularly in a maiden race. Dave, you with me on that?
Yeah, I am. I mean, if Valiant Gabe can stay close, that's his only chance, because he's probably going to go to the front and here Bliss This. I know he's been a beaten favorite, but he did beat by Bombolini, 2 back, who nobody was going to beat him that day, a first-time starter. Although he was beaten, I thought it was a good effort behind Big Daddy DR. Maybe today's the day. I'm not going to knock him too much.
I mean, the horse is
picked him
fine.
in there, but taking a chance against a short
price
favorite.
As a matter of like trying to make money betting horses, taking a stand against horses that are favored but have lost repeatedly as favorites.
You must know something.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Dave,
come on.
You've known me long enough. You know I know nothing.
No, I'm talking about Can't Dream Alone.
All right, so here's
pick.
Can't Dream Alone. Here's what we're thinking about here with this horse. Laura Roadcap, first-time starter. Yomar Ortiz in the irons. This is a son of Buffum. He's 4 years old, making his career debut. He's out of an older mare, first foal out of an older mare. I thought the works looked pretty good. I mean, I think this horse is training well enough that suggests he could be competitive with these kind of horses. Laura Roadcap has an interesting record. Doesn't start a lot of horses, hasn't had a lot of first starters. In the last 5 years, in fact, she's had 8 first starters. So we're very small sample size, and you can dismiss all this, and I'm not going to blame you for that. 3 of those have won at an ROI of $14.60 for every $2 you bet.
Yep, that ROI does. I see that right there.
That's a really big number. It just you know, and again, we're talking about very small sample sizes. You wouldn't want to take short odds on this horse, but you got an 8-1 morning line. That seems like a square price to take a little bit of a swing in a field that everybody's got some holes.
Okay, you got a firster in there. I want to do a firster in the 4th race.
All right, let us talk about the 4th race then, Dave.
All
and
right.
These are again maidens, maiden 40s going a half mile, older fillies and mares, and you, my friend, want to talk about a first-time starter.
Well, my top pick, Holy Boss filly. We saw Holy Boss run her first time out yesterday. He was very quick as a racehorse. 8% first-time starters. Doesn't really set the world on fire, right? But this is a half to a horse named What You Said. It was very, very consistent horse in career. Maybe not a world beater, but
2 for 7 though.
Yeah, 2 for 7. But not a really fast horse as far as buyer numbers go, right? 67,
right.
The siblings'
okay.
best number. Yeah, but for this group, okay. Justin Nixon with first-time starter, 6 for 19 the last 5 years in a positive ROI. Excuse me, first-time starting fillies. And this is a filly.
Because 6 for 29 overall. That's a very interesting filly number.
Right. So the workout intrigues me. August 28th at Pimlico, 48 3/5 from the gate. Comparing it to other gate works that morning, can't, because that was the only gate work that morning. So a couple of positive signs there. Trainer-wise, sire's okay, sibling was okay, consistent, good gate work, outside draw, going 4 furlongs, and I know I just said the inside is the best place to be, but in this case with a firster against horses who probably have had chances like Ashara, particularly Ashara, I think maybe she'll be up close by the time they hit that quarter-mile mark.
I agree with everything you said. Justin Nixon, the trainer, can get a horse ready to win first time out of the box. I found the breeding a little interesting. You mentioned What You Said. Horse, as we just said, is 2 for 7 and did win at second asking, so was able to win pretty early. The works look good to me. I mean, I obviously we're in the same place, 7-4-2 on our top 3, and I agree with you on all that. And a note on, I feel like, you know, obviously if you've got really good gate speed, you want to be inside going 4 furlongs. But I think if you're not a Kevin Patterson going to be 3 lanes clear right away, the outside's just fine. Where you don't want to be is in the middle where horses are going to start converging around you.
I guess that's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't say it. Just couldn't get the words.
It was that close.
Yeah, Lady Mosler has the real draw, but I don't think she's got much early foot. Ashara, yeah, she's got some speed, but looking at her record, this horse was scratched last week for maiden 25. In for maiden 32, will run today, so take that for what it's worth. But she's been up and down the ladder, productive, but not getting there. 0 for 13, but 5 seconds. Pray for the USA for Snake Frock, Charles A. Frock, ran okay last week. Coming from off the pace. The lone speed of Wink, the odds-on favorite. Nobody could catch, but I thought she closed a pretty good gap. I thought maybe she'd chase and tire, but no, she actually showed a little bit of ability to close.
No,
that race.
I like that effort. I thought that was a new dimension for this filly. And, you know, I had talked with Snake Frock prior to the race, and he seemed to think that she would once again be winging it on the front end, but Winked went right to the front. But as you said, this one closed a little bit. I thought that was a good effort and might set her up to move forward. So we both like the 4, Pray for the USA, a little bit underneath Ashara, but both of us on Holy Delight first-time starter for Justin Nixon. All right, Dave. And it's after, by the way, once again, after the 4th race, we will do the Hall of Fame presentation. Got a couple of short videos showing some of the highlights of our Hall of Fame horses. Some connections will be here, so that should be a lot of fun. All right, on to race 5, Mr. Rodman, and these are 10,000 never win 2 claimers going 6.5, 1 scratch in here. That is the 3 horse. Just Go With It is going to come out. And we got the same numbers, but we got them all jumbled up, and you want to go with Highland Dream. Super impressive last week. Try and double up.
Yeah, ran last week, claimed last week, runs back this week for new connections. I didn't think that race took a whole lot out of him there. First off, the claim Mario Saray, claimed him for a nickel in a reasonable spot now this week on the short rest. I just think if he runs that race back, and I think he will, because again, it didn't take a lot out of him. He, hardly blew out a candle really. I mean, by the time they reached the top of the lane, race is pretty much over. Even before that, he looked like he had a lot of run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first time in the Saray barn, as you said, very, very impressive debut. I mean, this is a horse you obviously got to use. I do wonder if you get 7-2 on the morning line, which is the morning line. I'll be curious to see. Obviously, that's going to go down a little bit because of the scratch, but I will be curious to see. I ended up on the 4 horse here, Amicalola Falls, who you use at the very bottom of your ticket. And the thing I liked about this horse, she has been stuck a little, or rather, he has been stuck a little bit at this 10,000, never went 2 level. Coming off, last race was at Laurel August 6th. What I liked about that race is this. This is a horse that had never really shown speed, would settle back, make a run, mostly not good enough. Last time out, shows speed, duels for the lead. Can't quite go on. It's the winner, duels with the winner who pulls away late. That was an entirely new dimension for this horse to show that kind of early foot. Over the years, I've had some success betting horses that do something different, don't win, but then take a step forward off that. So I feel like this might be a horse ready to take another step. Yeah,
that race 2 back, nobody was going to beat Jerry's Gem on the sloppy track. That horse entered, I think, tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Monday here again? So that win by 6 by Jerry's Gem was slop enhanced, but nobody was really kind of running behind that horse. Although last race, nothing to knock. It was about average for non-winners at 210. As you said, showed speed, can come from off of it. On that angle, I'm going to go for a horse that underneath that I think can come off of it kind of and inherit the game late, and that's Disputed Notion. Probably won't be up close. He's been on the lead, but that was going a mile at Laurel, but sprinting on 6.5. There's some speed in front of him. He comes out of that same Delitza Vita race. Your horse beat mine last out. That was then. This is now. At this level.
Have you been listening to the Monkees recently?
Was that a song by the
That
Monkees?
wasn't. It was a late Monkees song. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
No, yeah, I mean, that horse obviously ought to pass a couple late. The question is going to be whether he passes enough to kind of get himself into the mix.
Yeah, had a little bit of an excuse being bumped there. Out of the same Jerry's Gem race, again, on the slop. They're coming back to fast track today. The numbers figure in the mix on the bottom level, bottom of the ticket.
Bottom of the ticket. Yeah, I mean, that's where I certainly put him. Highland Dream, we talked about anything for Big Daddy DR or on to the 6th?
No, I don't. Let's move on.
On to the 6th. All right, these are open 12-5 claimers going 6.5 furlongs here. Do we have a scratch?
No.
No scratches. Everybody's in. We got 8 horses here.
Okay.
And as Dave just said, the 1 is 1 pound over, so carrying 119. We are, again, in different places. So why don't you go ahead with the 6 horse here?
Could have gone a number of ways here. I went for the Kieran McGee off the claim and Big Man Can. Much the reason I went earlier to the Saray horse. I thought his win at Laurel was okay. Fits. Kieran, he's when he claims a horse like this, raises him up, shows he got a little bit of confidence in him here, and he's got Gino Bello aboard. He's really heating up here toward the latter part of the Timonium meet. I think he's got a good clean trip right on or off the pace in this spot. Jetting Out is kind of the intriguing horse. Speaking of horses who are visually impressive, that race 2 back at Laurel, very impressive, stepped way above his pay grade there against Beverly Park. EJ's Revenge, the Wolfman, didn't run bad. 5th in a 6-horse field, but only beaten 4 lengths. And I think the pace scenario will be a little kinder to Jetting Out today, coming back at a week's rest to the Brian Brooks barn. So
that was a really salty crew that he saw in that last time.
I could have gone either way there. So
a note on your top choice there, Big Man Can. Trainer Kieran McGee is 29% first off the claim, raising a horse by 50% or more as he's doing. grabbed that one for 8,000, wheels back for 12.5. So that's a thing to note. I went in a little bit different direction. I went with Royal Thunder here. Source ran huge 3 races ago and galloped against Similar at Laurel Park. Got claimed that day by Carlos Mencia. Came back against Better. Really didn't run a step. And here's the thing I'm doing here, Dave, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'll say it anyway. A lot of times I have found over the years, if a horse runs really well one day, then kind of bounces the next, the race after, they don't come all the way back. Sometimes they come kind of halfway back, and then they come all the way back. This horse kind of did that last time. Ran a clunker against allowance horses, dropped back to the 8,000 level, improved effort, dueled with the winner. That was Big Man Can. That was your horse. That was an improved try. Kind of stuck around to the end, only beaten 3 lanes. That was sort of the halfway race to me. Might be sitting on a move back to that 3-back effort. And if he does go back to that 3-back effort, he's probably the winner here.
All right. On a positive note for that horse, he was beaten by Big Man Can. Subject change was favored. And I just noticed in my notes, too, the Big Man Can Day, August 13th, arguably an outside tilt to the track at Laurel, meaning horses who were 3-4 deep. I'm not going to say the rail was not the place to be, but it seemed, looking at the charts that day, that maybe Royal Thunder was kind of up against it down inside and hung in there pretty game, So yeah, I won't discount him. I might even go deeper in that race. Use your horse
I thought this is a really good race. I think you could make a case for about 4 or 5 horses in here, Dave.
Right.
And obviously we did, because we're all over the place.
Well,
so
if you believe that there was an outside tilt that day, maybe Big Man Can, maybe a little slight, but coming back in a week, jetting out against tougher could be the play. Interesting to see how the public will actually bet the race. Because, Keith has a 5-2 morning line favorite, so it looks like the odds are going to be nice wherever you go across the board.
I think that's right, and I think that's how it should be. I mean, this group of horses, there are a lot of arguments to be made for different ones. So 2-4-6-1 for me, 6-3-1-2 in the 6th race for Dave Rodman. All right, 7th race, Dave. These are 5,000. Haven't won 2 in 6 months, or never won 5. Going a mile and 16th. Going to take out the 1, take out the 2, leaving a grand total of 4. I landed on Emma and I because I think it's Emma and I to the front and doesn't come back.
Possible. I just remember that race and handicapping it here. Was the opening race there last week on the 27th. Horse got a lot of play off of turf in synthetic form. I just didn't think there was a whole lot behind that horse, 2nd and 3rd. Almost a default winner. So I'm going to give a big chance to Miss Moreno here, who I think overall has run against a little more saltier kind of groups, turf and dirt. Plus, I got to use my Ferris Allen trainee opening up around the far turn around the Ferris Allen wheel. Never got to do that yesterday with my top pick. Last and wide, thank you. So, I don't. If you're going to be up front and that's the play, I think I'll be right there with you, chasing.
Okay.
With Gino Bello aboard, Miss Moreno, my top pick in the short field.
Yeah, Miss Moreno coming off 3 consecutive turf tries, at 1 at Penn, 2 at Colonial, now back on the main track, 4 a nickel. So you're going 5 horse Miss Moreno. Mm-hmm. I'm going Emma and I in the 7th race. Let us spin ahead to the 8th. Starter optional sorts that have never won 3 races. Scratches, take out the 6 in here. Otherwise, everybody's here. And you and I are both doing something that may or may not be wise.
I think a lot of people are doing this.
We're taking a stand against 9 to 5 morning line.
Same thing. He's kind of,
Who?
John Piasek.
Oh, John Piasek. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't hear the word that you said. Oh, who?
Yeah, just a discussion about this race.
Taking a stand against the 7 horse.
Tell me why you're taking a stand against the 7, and I'll see if it's the same reason I'm taking a stand.
There are 2 reasons here, Dave. The first is I think there's a lot of speed in this race.
All right.
And she is part of it, but she's not the only speed. So not going to have things her own way. The other reason is I just don't know why she's here. This is a horse. They claim this horse for 20, win an allowance, winning off the turf stake. She's shown you enough that you could give a shot at a 2 other than and have a reasonable shot at it.
Maybe they're waiting for you to put $32,000 in the account and take her.
Yes, well, they're going to be waiting a long time if they're waiting for me to do it. And for me, if I can't have in my own mind a convincing story of why a horse is in this specific race, I can't bet him.
Okay. She won the searching last time out, going a mile at Laurel. Kicked again at the 8th pole, had speed in that race. Smartly sent to the front on what was a speed and perhaps good rail day.
And a race with no speed.
Right, and a lot of the horses left in behind her were kind of turf horses that stuck around in the race. So I think that race, I know it's a stakes win, but perhaps a little bit enhanced, and people are going to go crazy over that, going, oh, here's a stakes winner in for 32. So I could be dead wrong, but that's my reason. So you went to the 4.
I went with the 4, and as I just said, part of why I was betting against the Music Amore is because I think there's a lot of speed. I think a number of these are going to be forwardly placed, particularly going this 2-turn 6.5 distance. So who's going to be running at the end? And who I got to there was I'm Getting There for Hammy Smith, Yana Viles aboard. This horse has shown the ability to run into the pace. That last try in an allowance on the dirt, that was 3 races ago, coming off 2 turf tries. The last time on the dirt, pretty good effort. The speed fig doesn't really reflect much, only a 59, but kind of closed into the pace in an allowance, ended up finishing 3rd, beat a length and change. Of the 4 horses to run back from that race, 4 of them, there are 6 that have run back, 4 of them have finished 1, 2, 3, 3 of them finishing 1, 2. So that heat might be a sneaky good heat. So all in all, I just think this horse, the flow of the race should be to her advantage.
Rockin' Hippie Chick, I think, is going to fit the flow of the race. It's going to be my top pick. I know she prompted last time out, but she has the ability to close. You can see at Pimlico 3 back. Annette Eubanks has done just a stellar job with this filly this year. 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds.
And has 2 wins at the meet.
Yes, Annette doing great at the meet. Whatever happened from 2021, 2022 turned her around. As a matter of fact, she came off that long layoff to win. Now she's had a little bit of a break, maybe to get freshened up. And I think, assuming she maintains her form and her runs this year, she was 5th and off the board there against Swaying To and Fro, a horse that's reeled off several in a row, a race that's produced 2 next out winners, including Swaying To and Fro. Date Night Kisses came out of there in a little bit of salty spot, but she redeemed herself in another smart ride, a good smart ride there by Angel Cruz, who didn't waste any time that day, got her right into the race. So interesting tech to see if you say there's a lot of speed in here, what he's going to do with her. I don't think he'll get too far back, but she's rateable, tractable. Walter Rodriguez aboard, Rockin' Hippie Chick today.
Okay, that's a good get.
Sorry about that.
No, I didn't realize that.
Can rate this filly just a little bit, or if the speed doesn't materialize, she'll be right there. Somebody likes the 2 in Saratoga.
All right, so Dave going 2-3-1-7. I'm 4-7-1-3.
You don't want to know what happened in Saratoga.
Let's talk very quickly about Red Queen in here. That's the one horse we both use a little bit. Coming out of a race at Charlestown where I kind of felt like just might not really have liked the going there. Had been claimed 2 back for 20,000 at Churchill. Made a bit of a middle move in last before kind of tiring. I feel like this is a horse that can move back to a better effort. Red Queen, that's the one horse in the 8th race, and Dave and I both using that in our top 3, so to help us fill out the trifecta. All right, the nightcap, race 9 race card here at the Big T Saturday. We're landing on the same horse on top. These are maiden 10 2-year-olds going 4 furlongs, and we're both on Preacher Amos for Cody Durr. First time for Cody Durr. Source 9-2 morning line. Dave, what do you see?
Well, I just see a horse dropping off of a spot where he flashed some speed against Maiden Special at Gulfstream back in the spring and April. Drops in for 10 here at Timonium. The winner was a 10-length winner there. The Zelensky Strong. So you got to give a horse a shot in this group. I simply didn't like a whole lot else in here. There's an interesting first-time starter in here, Ecliptical David, out of a dam So Blessed, who won $216,000 in the career, 5 wins, 3 seconds, 12 thirds from 36 tries. Delaware shipper, first time out, small sample for the trainer, first out. I just, no standout in this spot, so with the dropper on top, thinking the drop would do. A first time starter maybe for a price. You wound up in the same horse. No nickel in there, but you've got Brian Brooks with the Presque Isle second time on the dirt for I Once Stood Alone in the mix.
Preacher Amos, Cody Durr has started one horse in his name in the last 5 years. That was a horse that ran second here at Timonium last year. So I thought that was kind of a fun little factoid on Preacher Amos. And I agree with you. The horse showed good speed against horses that most likely are better than these, and yes, faded, but they gave him some time off, come back in a much easier spot. That seems like all systems go to me on that horse. I also used I Once Stood Alone for the Brooks barn. That's a horse dropping out of maiden specials into maiden tens. Works have been okay at Laurel. You use that horse as well. I used the Clovis Crane first timer. Blame the Bourbon. You used Ecliptical David. So I think we're both in the same general spot here, which is using the one-time starter to maybe get on top and then maybe looking at some firsters underneath.
Well, given that the highest buyer figure of the group is a 29, and that was at Presque Isle on the synthetic track for I Once Stood Alone, the rest are firsters. I just went to an angle mare there on the dam of Ecliptical David, So Blessed. She made $200,000. I mean, I don't think this colt's got to run too much really to get something done in here.
Yep.
So that would be my long shot play of the day. Maybe this firster just rolling through and blowing around these other runners by the time they hit the quarter pole, and we're on our way hopefully to
riches.
Yeah. Riches.
Or we could just borrow some money from Jack Harmon.
That's probably what I'll be doing at the end of the day.
All right, that's going to do it here for us on the Big T today. Dave Rodman, any final thoughts?
That's it. It's got to be better than yesterday.
We got our heads kicked in. It's got to be better than yesterday.
But last week was good. We're still okay.
Yeah, no, we're still okay, but yesterday was tough to sit through.
All right, good
All
luck.
right, for Dave Rodman, I'm Frank Vespi. Join us in just a few minutes. Callie Francois going to join me here, and we will handicap the first race. Dave Rodman, good luck today. He's
thanks,
Dave.
Frank.
I'm Frank.
Good luck.
We wish you good luck.